Ooh, I like this. M3D with the $2. Thank you so much. To one up that guy, got any rants on art versus consumerism? I have tons of rants on art versus consumerism. Like, I could go on and on and on. I will, I guess, admit this openly on stream. I am not the biggest fan, and that's putting it mildly. I'm not the biggest fan of art interacting with capitalism. I think capitalism is a generally fine way for most things in society that aren't necessities to be able to meet a marketplace. I don't think art is one of them. I genuinely think that when people are incentivized to produce art in a capitalist way, it then shifts the incentives from communicating in a human, meaningful, artful, passionate, evocative manner into communicating so that I get the most money or maximize my market potential. And while I think there is a happy medium to be met between those two, most of the time, how capitalism functions, its model is infinite growth. Its model is continued trajectory upward. And while you can start with good intentions about like, I'm going to remain true to myself, but I'm going to also try to make sure that I can make a living off this. If you don't have an extremely conscious mindset about how you interact with capitalism and art, you will surely, inevitably, slowly start to slip into making art for the money rather than money being a like subset or almost like a consequence of the art that you make, right? Like you go out, you seek out to make art, and money happens to be there, where a lot of times it'll switch around where you are now seeking money and you're making art to get it. And when you start seeking money and you make art to get it, you then slip into the trap of the art no longer being an expression of who you are. It is starting to take on qualities that's supposed to be money making. And I think definitely, again, there's a middle ground, and I could go way longer into this. Since we talked about Sonic, I do think that there are people who interact with art who don't care about it. I think the people who originally made the first Sonic movie were probably not fans of Sonic. Like, you know, people who like own the IP or whatever, and they were just like, yeah, we can make a Sonic movie and it'll be fine. And so that's how you end up making something that's as ugly as ugly Sonic. And it was when people who are actually non-capitalistically involved with the art, i.e. the fans, who are like, this is freaking disgusting, take this away, I want to gouge out my eyes, is when they realize, oh, we can't just like pump out anything. We have to treat this with care, the care that art like demands. So I just don't think that it's a catch-22, and this is what I'll end on. It's a catch-22 because I think for art to be spread as wide as we'd want it to be as creators of art, it needs to interact with like large scale economies, right? Like it needs to be mass produced, it needs to be distributed. And the only way to do that obviously is a ton of money. But I think the catch-22 comes in the form of, to be able to get to that level, a lot of times your art is compromised because you have to be able to meet with so many different other people. I think that there's examples in Hollywood where the art doesn't become compromised. I'm blanking on his name, but it's Pulp Fiction, and chat help me out. This is, I mean, I'll just Quentin Tarantino. There we go. Quentin Tarantino is so big, and like Peter Jackson, they're so big that they no longer need to compromise their art to be able to make good art. Yeah, Quentin, thank you. Yeah. And that's really cool. But generally, like, it's really tough to remain true to yourself. I could have sold out a ton. I'm gonna just let you guys know this. I could have sold out a long time ago in many, many different ways. On my YouTube channel, for my books, all that kind of stuff. I've turned down dozens and dozens and dozens of sponsorship deals that because I didn't believe in them. There was one company that wanted me to sponsor I'm not gonna give the name. They wanted me to sponsor a what was it? Like an energy drink. And I was like, I need to test the energy drink first. Given to the dark side of capitalism, I will not. I refuse. But yeah, they wanted me to sponsor an energy drink, and they sent me one. Or they sent me a few, and I drank them, and I was like, I don't feel any better. Like, if there's other things that this does, I'll talk about that, but I will not say it makes me feel more energized or makes me feel better. And they were gonna pay me a lot of money to do it. But I was like, yeah, I'm just not gonna do that, because I don't think that I should start doing things for money that's going to compromise how people see things for my art. So I don't know, it's a very slippery slope, but I think it interacts in very destructive ways if not handled correctly. So there's my mini rant. You didn't get the full thing, but that's the start of it.